Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. So now we have our guest from Japan. He is my friend, one of my closest friend, and he's Dominic Bryan San Jose. Hi, kid.
Hi Kim, hi Kid. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are.
Okay. So
Thank you.
thank you very much for giving me time to ask you questions and for you to share your journey with our viewers. And as a part of your journey, where you are right now, we want to go back to look on the things that happened to you. First of all, as an educator, what schools were you able to teach and what subjects?
Um, well, technically, I've been teaching since I was college. I mean, since we studied in the seminary, and since in the seminary, so we started teaching in the elementary, like catechism and religious education, and then after college, I started teaching in La Consolacion College in Daet. And then after that, went back to the seminary 2 years or 3 years again in the States. And then realizing that that vocation was not for me. So I started my teaching career in Legazpi City, specifically in the University of Santo Tomas Legazpi. It was the Aquinas University before, but I think in 2018 it became University of Santo Tomas Legazpi. So in since 2014 to 2019, so I spent my time there teaching and enjoying the teaching career as an academician.
Okay, and I was also able to visit you on the school, and I was given a privilege by you to tour around the campus
Right, I remember that. I
when you were
remember.
still a campus minister. So, what made you decide to go to Japan?
Well, practically speaking, without sugarcoating, it's the economic reason. We know that. We know that we need to. Well, personally, knowing that in the near future I will be a family man, I will be married. I hope that's pretty soon. So realizing those realities, so I told myself that I can't do it. I cannot start investing for myself and for my family in the Philippines as a teacher. So even though I didn't like it, I didn't want to leave, but the reality is like punching me like, hey, you have to do something. So I decided to apply here in Japan as an assistant language teacher. And then fortunately, thanks be to God, so I was hired. And then it took me 6 months to fly to Japan. And I'm here now.
Okay, so congratulations for that.
Thank you very much.
So, to our viewers right now, what can you tell them as part of their preparation if they also wanted to go to Japan as an educator, just like you?
Well, that's a beautiful question. Well, technically, the license here is irrelevant. I mean, I am a licensed teacher in the Philippines,
Yes.
and but they need your certificate in that they call TESOL, teaching English to others speakers of to, but TESOL or TFL, teaching English as foreign language. So we need to take like one of those credentials. Or if you are an English teacher, that's perfect. You have an experience at least 1 year. So that is perfect. So I was not an English major. I just prepared myself for English. And yeah, they hired me.
So, being far away from home, sometimes I do know because I also was able to visit other countries. So,
Right.
how do you conquer the homesickness?
That's a beautiful question because I spent many years, several years already away from my family, like when I was studying in New Jersey. And then when I was studying in the seminaries, I was away from my family, and I became used to it. And then in Japan, it's totally different because although it's an Asian country, so the language barrier is so evident. So I could not easily establish friendship or kind of
Mhm.
relationship among the Japanese people here around me. So thankfully, we have the technology. So like every night, I call my loved ones, it's my family. So that's how I, overcome the homesickness whenever it kind of hits me. And yeah, thanks to Zoom, to Skype, Messenger, and Line and other platforms. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
So since you mentioned about adjustments, from being in a Philippine culture to a Japanese culture, what are the major changes that happened to you when you went to Japan?
Major changes. What do you mean major changes?
Maybe it's on the way you do things, the way you start the class, the way you go to
So
different places.
yeah, like in the classroom or in my work in the workplace, it's totally different because Japanese people are not so confrontational like us. So they're so reserved. You
Mhm.
have to approach first, especially knowing that you they cannot speak English well. They're so afraid to speak English. So I need to learn the language. So I think that's one of the major adjustments that I did is to learn at least the basic. I'm not good at Japanese because it was not required. So outside the classroom, in order to interact with them, I need to learn basic Japanese like, excuse me, how are you? Or how to do this, how to do that, where is it, where is that? So that kind of, those kind of things.
So, as a language teacher, how do you manage your classroom? And what are the age of your students?
Thank you. That's a nice question. Before when I came here as an assistant language teacher, they call it ALT. So this is, I think, unique to Japan because in the classroom there are two teachers in English classes. So the Japanese teacher, they call it HRT in elementary, homeroom English teacher, homeroom teacher HRT, and then the ELT. That's me. So two teachers. In high school, we have a junior high school. We have the JTE, the Japanese teacher of English. So most of the time in because I was assigned to two elementary schools and one junior high school. So most of the time
That's a
I
lot.
was just like standing at the side and waiting for the Japanese teacher to help him or her. So it's very easy and boring because you
Most
don't
especially the
control the
waiting,
class.
the waiting time,
Yeah,
right?
you are correct. Yeah. So it's, I mean, to me, who used to be to be so active in the classroom, it's so boring. I mean, but you're just paid to stand up there and to wait. At least for elementary school, I can do my things because the Japanese teachers, they really don't speak English. It's, I mean, the Japanese teachers in elementary, but in junior high school, they have these specializations. That's why they are called JTE, Japanese Teachers of English. Um, so in high school, I just stood by at the side. So it took, I mean, that's I lasted there for 5 months, my first contract. And then after 5 months, when the school ended in March, so I changed my employer. And now I'm working in the A-Kaiwa. We call it A-Kaiwa or tutorial center. This is an after school school. So my working hours are from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. And speaking about how to manage the classes, it was so easy because that's one of the best things I like about Japanese students. They are so disciplined.
Wow,
Of course,
that's
there are
great.
kids who are so naughty and mischievous, but majority, it's so impressive. I love it compared to our students in the Philippines. So disciplined. I love it.
Okay. So thank you very much for sharing your story with us. So aside from being an educator, you also transition from being just an employee to having your own business venture. And we have here one of the example that you are in right now is the quick ad solutions. So can you tell us more about what is quick ad solutions and what products do you offer?
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. When I moved to another company, which is the Akaiwa, which is my present company, I realized that I had plenty of time in the morning and until 3 p.m. So I had nothing to do. So I tried to learn some virtual skills. I tried to upgrade my skills in the virtual things like digital marketing, virtual assistants, website design, marketing, and so on. And then I realized that I can monetize my skills, those skills that I learned, and those ideas led me to create this website, this business, the Quick Ad Solution, which is focused on advertising and marketing. So we offer like digital services like graphics design, what else? Explainer video creation, digital marketing, video marketing, including website design and search engine optimization. If this is for websites and social media, so we optimize websites and social media platforms or social media handles. So those
And
are my services.
okay. So to give our viewers a background, I guess, and you mentioned several years ago that you started this business since you were still in the US, in New Jersey, I think, right? And or the inspiration came when you were exposed to the US industry or the standards that they have there, right?
That's right. That's right. So I saw the needs and I said, oh, why not? Well, they can do it. Why can't I do it? But in those times, I didn't have a lot of time. So the focus was different because I was studying. But when I came here in Japan, so I saw the opportunity that I can do it. I can allot some time for this. And then I started consolidating all my skills and putting them together. And then here it is, the Quick Ad Solutions company now. But it's kind of in the infancy of its stage, but we're doing our best and for our clients to grow it.
So yeah, since we're talking about business, we just want to get a glimpse on how do you attract customers on quick ad solutions.
Oh wow, that's a tough question. Tough question. Definitely. We make use of, I don't know if you heard already of we use the organic search and paid search. So on the social media, we use paid search, and on Google and YouTube, we make use of the organic search. So if you are familiar with those terms in marketing, like in search engine optimization, so the organic search is when somebody or someone types certain words and your certain word and your website or your Facebook page um, appears on the first page of the results. So that's an organic search, which our website is doing fine because I think and I believe my training on the search engine optimization help a lot in getting a lot of organic traffic. Organic traffic, yeah, right.
Okay, thank you very much for the quick ad solutions. And we also have here the Happy Talk English School. This will be the affordable English to excellence. And this will be launching soon. Can you tell us more about Happy Talk English?
Okay, thank you very much. Without preempting the launching of it, um, I'm speaking with some other teachers in Japan and some other colleagues here. We came up with the idea of online tutorial focused on teaching Japanese students from kids to adult or free talk conversation. This is more on online, this online classes, and our goal also is to help our teachers in the Philippines, especially the English teachers. We would like to create jobs. Um, this is like um, um, outsourcing or helping our teachers in the Philippines find students here in Japan at the very affordable price, but also not putting our teachers in the Philippines in the advantage in terms of earning their income by teaching our students. So it will be launched, I think, pretty soon. So we're just completing some other requirements, and we're excited about it.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And if, for example, teachers or educators want to join in on this one, what tips can you give our teachers, especially our language teachers, if they
Mhm.
wanted to teach Japanese students?
Online, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
In the Happy Talk, if they want to teach our students here in Japan, first of all, of course, they need to be a teacher. If not a teacher, at least they have an experience teaching English, or they have certificate in TFL, teaching English as a foreign language. And other than that, they need to, have the right equipment, the internet, the computer, the headset. It's very important because we know that we live in the place, especially in the Philippines, where people live together, extended family.
Oh,
So
mhm.
they need the right working place and the equipment, other than the skills and the pedagogy that they can teach English. So I think those are the tips, that basic tips. And other than that, um, the other tips are explained in the onboarding process in the Happy Talk.
And I guess this can also be the stepping stone, the foundation of the teachers if they really wanted to go to Japan as well, right?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, yeah. That's a very good point.
So that they can be able to have a glimpse of what it's like on how to teach Japanese students, right?
True.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
so since the start of this Happy Talk English School, there will be different levels when it comes to the teaching, the the primary, the secondary, and we also have the adult learners. So
Mhm.
what flexibility does an educator or a teacher needs in order for them not to apply what is not meant for that specific age level? Like for example, some other teachers, if they are trained to teach students or pupils only, they tend to
Mm,
make use of it when teaching adult learners. So
true.
how do we manage flexibility in terms of teaching?
I think flexibility is one of the best qualities of our Filipino teachers. I think in the Happy Talk, we're going to be preparing training and some included in the onboarding, um, some training regarding this, and specifically we'll present the curriculum, the because in the Japanese curriculum, um, they are so specific on the content of the curriculum and the content only. I mean, they are
Okay,
not
yeah, yeah.
so flexible of going out of this. Otherwise they will be so kind of confused. So
Mhm.
in the Happy Talk, so we create a very specific frame where this level should only be in this level, and that level can be only in this level. So that the training is included in the onboarding.
Okay, so thank you very much for the input.
You're welcome.
So for other teachers, well, of course, we do have this concept in the Philippines that if you're a teacher, some of the teachers they just teach for life. So you being into the transition, the transformation phase, wherein you start to become a
Transformation.
business entrepreneur, uh, what tips can you give to our teachers and educators?
Well, that's a tough question because I myself, I am still learning the and applying the tips that I learned in the previous. training. But personally, I can only speak for myself, and I can only share what I've gone through and going through. I think the important thing first is like, what do you want to do? I mean, what's your goal? And then where do you want to go? What do you want to establish or to build for your future? And then knowing where you want to go, what do you have? And then like it's like assessing the things that I have, are they enough to achieve what I want to achieve? If not, so what should I do? So those questions are very crucial in, transitioning, because I am not a business person. Uh, I wasn't prepared for business, but I enjoyed and I learned a lot from the entrepreneurial aspect of education, and how to monetize your skills, your talent. So those are very important. And this is also important. Do not stick to what you have now. So try to learn and learn and learn. So even those free trainings, they will help you in the long run.
Okay, so
That's just for
given
me.
given the things that you have said a while ago, to the students who are currently watching right now, we can say that we are not just teachers, but at the same time, we are also students as well, because we continue to learn, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so
Like learning is never ending.
and going back to Japan, what places do you like? Most especially the tourist places there.
Well, honestly, I should tell you that I've been here for 2 years, but I have never been to many tourist places, tourist spots. So far, I've been to, of course, to Tokyo, and here in Ichizuoka, where the Mount Fuji is. That's where my first assignment was, and then transferred here in Inuyama City in Aichi Ken. It's like 1 hour or 45 minutes away from Nagoya City. Um, I could go around this place with my Japanese students, the adult students. They bring me to different places. The photos that I post on my Facebook page, a Facebook
Mhm.
account, and I'm so thankful because I only speak with them in English, like free conversation in English, and they give me this free tour. It's like yeah, this
Yeah.
coming 29th, uh, the last week of the month, they will bring me somewhere again. For is there like five Japanese, not so old people, Japanese people, and the only thing that I have to do is speak English because they want to practice English. And it's more on Gifu Prefecture. It's in the
Okay,
north of
prefecture.
Aichiken. More on forest, mountains, and parks, castles, and other than that, not so many major tourist spots, because I'm waiting for my loved one, my beloved,
Yeah.
um, my beloved to come over before we go and explore, because I don't want to do it alone. I want to do it with
Yeah.
with my beloved. Yeah, because I mean, we want to do things, we want to enjoy it with the one that we love. But to me, doing it by myself, I mean, it's not, it's meaningless to me.
Yeah. And when when talking about transportation infrastructures, we do know that Japan is a first of its kind, especially when it comes to technology, right? So
Yeah.
so being a Filipino, what are the adjustments that you made?
Oh, yeah, that's so funny because the first time we arrived in Tokyo, like we had to go to the training center from the airport to the hotel, from hotel to the training center by ourselves. And I said, how could we do that? And then the manager told us, do the Google search. And then that's where I, learn and realize the value of Google Map, because it also taught me how to read how to go in the training station and take proper train, because there were many times I took the train and it took me to the wrong place because I took the wrong train. So it's a lot of adjustment, how to read the platforms, the train, where are you going. So this is so high tech in Tokyo. When transportation is very, it's overwhelming, from a guy coming from a province in the Philippines.
From MRT, LRT to Shinkansen.
LRT, yeah, it's so easy to do it in the Philippines, but here, what makes it tougher is the language. You can see it's going to Tokyo. You can't read the Romanji. It's all in Japanese. You just
There's
have
no
to know
English
the
translation, right?
no English translation. Only in Google Map you can see English, but when you look at the platform in the station, right in the station, you can't read English. Oh my! I mean, you can see English signs. So overwhelming. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
and
But in the classroom, I was well I was a bit disappointed because until now we are still using chalkboard in many
wow,
public.
that's the traditional way of teaching, right?
Exactly, yeah. But one thing about the blackboard or the chalkboard is I don't know if we call it a smart board, because the smart board has a magnet. When you post on the board, it sticks in there, and the chalk is, so when you erase it, it doesn't become a powder. It sticks on the eraser. So I
So in
think
itself,
all
there is also a technology, right?
yeah, right.
there
So
is there is some advancement.
right, right. Although it's traditional, but you can see how it evolved. There is still technology in there.
Okay,
Awesome.
and one of the Filipino cultures that we bring with us when we go to other countries is the Filipino culture, right?
Of
And
course.
so, how do you communicate with our fellow Filipino kababayans?
Well, of course, Tagalog or Filipino. Even though here in my place, I rarely see Filipinos. I rarely see
so,
Filipinos.
so to be
I
exact, you're the only Filipino there. Is that correct?
I I think so. Maybe in other kind of other the neighboring cities, maybe there are some Filipinos. But when I went to the city hall to schedule for my vaccine, I
Uh-huh.
couldn't, they couldn't understand me. I couldn't understand them. So thankfully there was a guy there, and he was speaking loudly in Japanese. And then when we look at each other, and I realized, oh my God, he is Filipino. He's Filipino. And I asked him, and I said, um, excuse me, do you speak English? Do they speak English? And then he also spoke English, and he said, no, 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 they don't speak English. And then he said, are you Filipino? And I said, yes, I'm Filipino. And he said, impacto ka pa, English, English ka pa.
that's that's
So
a
there
funny
were
story, right?
Filipinos, right? I mean, it happened to me several times when I was buying my first bicycle. Bike is very precious here when you go to work.
Wow.
Um, I couldn't also understand the sales guy, and thankfully there was a Filipino who could speak Japanese, so he helped me in the transaction, and yeah, I was able to buy
Yeah.
it smoothly. So there were several times, but for Filipinos we use Filipino, and some Japanese expressions just to express our utmost respect, because po and opo is like not enough for us anymore,
Uh-huh,
because
uh-huh.
in Japanese there are expressions higher than po and opo. So those are my experiences about it.
Okay, so and given the different instances, and you also have their different seasons. Unlike here in the country, in the Philippines, we only
Of
experience
course,
rainy season and the dry season. And
right,
so, but for you, you also were able to encounter winter when you were still in the US, right? So
right.
for Filipinos who would like to go to Japan, what can you say about the different paces when it comes to the season? If they want to travel to Japan to visit, so what's the best month to go and visit? When
Mhm.
is the winter?
Right, right. I think, yeah, that's a very good point. If you will just like to travel and experience Japan, I highly suggest by the end of March or first week of April, because that is the sakura season. You will see the beautiful cherry blossoms all around Japan, and it's beautiful. I mean, I love it. The cherry blossom. There are cherry blossom festivals, and then people are so happy. There are many foods around, but of course, except last year and this year, because of the coronavirus considerations. And then other than the sakura season, the second option could be during the autumn. It's beautiful here. I mean, during autumn, the colorful, surrounding. It's beautiful. I mean, we don't see it in the Philippines, right? And winter, it's not so snowy in this place because, it's south and near the seaside. So most of the snow are in the northern area. Here it's just
Ah, okay, okay.
so thin snow, not that a lot of snow. And what else? Yeah, I think that's pretty much the suggestions.
So, what can you say about how do Japanese people treat their culture, their arts, and their traditions? Because you were exposed to the Japanese culture, right?
You mean how do they?
How do they give privilege? How do they apply it to their daily lives or to the way they
Ah,
do things?
well, first of all, Japanese people are so proud of themselves. When majority of the students, when I was in the public school, when I asked them, "What country do you want to visit?" Most of the time, they will just answer, "No, I just want here in Japan." And then
Wow.
I just, "What's your favorite country?" Most of the answer was like Japan. They're so proud of Japan, and they are so full of Japan. So to them, seeing a foreigner who speaks English, their their mentality will always be, "Are you from America?" Even I myself, I was asked many times, "Are you from America?" And I said, "Do I look like American?" And when you say Philippine, Doko Philippine, where's the Philippines? So most of them kind of, they don't know outside Japan. I mean, not that they don't know. I mean, most of the facts are just based on the books that they study, but other than that, they don't know it. That's why the ALTs, if there are teachers who are watching and aspiring to come in here in Japan, the role of the ALT is to be a cultural ambassador. You have to open the minds of the eyes of the students. You are the window to other culture, especially of your own culture, of our Filipino culture, and to let them know that Japan is not the only country in the world. There are other beautiful countries, beautiful culture. Yeah, because they are so proud of themselves, which I think which is not bad because it's the nationalism is very, very strong.
Okay, so thank you very much. What's your last word to our educators, to those who wants to go to Japan, if you have any?
Well, to our educators who would like, or especially the English teachers who would like to come over here in Japan, and those who want to teach here, if you are a non-English teacher, uh, you can prepare yourself like in 6 months or 1 year. You can get the experience. You can teach online and get TFL certificate, and you're good already. You are already qualified to apply here. If you're an English teacher, then that's the best thing about that. And then apply in how do you say that? Recruitment uh, recruitment office in the Philippines. By I don't know if I'm allowed to mention the recruitment. Um,
Well, it's up to you. it's it's it's
I
promotion for
mean,
them, right?
yeah, I mean it's not a promotion, but the agency where we applied was Chesham. It's named Chesham. The name is Chesham Recruitment. It's in Makati City, and it's pretty helpful for us to process everything. It took me 6 months to process everything before we receive our visa. So if you're planning, you better start now. You better visit their website, check the requirements because it will take you several months to complete those requirements. Is it worth it? Of course, yes. Is it worth the wait? Yes, it is. I waited for 6 months. I processed 3 months. I spent a lot of money, but is it worth it? It is. Yes, it is. A big yes. A big hi. So teachers, good luck, and you can do it.
Okay, domo arigato gozaimasu, kid.
Do itashimashita. So it's my pleasure to
Sayonara.
share my experiences. Yeah, sayonara. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu.